Tansei, I'm Chris Nachkate. Welcome to APTN National News. Thank you for joining us. As people continue to honor the life of Judge, Senator, and TRC Commissioner Murray Sinclair, his family has announced their plans to celebrate his life and his journey home. TR Wheatley joins us live from the Manitoba Legislature with some of those details. TR, you're back at the Ledge. Can you tell us what's happening there today?
Yes, Chris, and so there's a couple of things. So the Manitoba government have a book of condolences, so you just head on inside, just before the grand staircase inside, there is a beautiful picture there of Mr. Sinclair as well as the book. That book of condolences, will be here until Sunday, so any of the public who want to come, you can come from anywhere from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Again, that's until this Sunday. Also, you can see the teepee here. Inside the teepee, of course, is the sacred fire. Now, that was lit on Monday, and it will continue to burn here until Thursday. People can still come. You could bring your own pouches of tobacco, or if you don't have any, and you want to come say a prayer or anything to help Mr. Sinclair on his spiritual journey, they do have tobacco inside here as well. The family have announced that Sinclair will have a private burial, so those arrangements will be made with the Three Fires Medewin Lodge.
There's also a public event, TR, happening in Winnipeg today. Can you tell us about that?
Yes, that's correct. So for the family, they are calling it a public visitation, and it's actually happening right now on the south side of the city at the Kaboto Center. It's on Wilkes Avenue. So for locals who are watching this, that's near the Outlet Mall. Anyone can attend. The family, though, they follow Anishinaabe traditions, and they've asked that the public do not bring their cameras, do not take any photos or any video, as this is a very traditional event.
TR, can you tell us about the public service for Mr. Sinclair?
Yeah, Chris, and of course, we all know he was a very influential man. So, his service will take place at one of the bigger venues here in Winnipeg. That's happening on Sunday, November 10th. That's at the Canada Life Centre in downtown Winnipeg. So the doors are open at 1 p.m. So the public's asked to get there in advance, as the ceremony is expected to start at 2.
And TR, what if someone can't attend and wants to do something in his honor?
Yeah, absolutely. There are still options for those who cannot make it here to this to any of these events. The family are asking, in lieu of flowers, to donate to the Murray Sinclair Memorial Fund. Now, that's set up with the Winnipeg Foundation. People can also send cards or letters, anything like that, and those can be sent to the Cochrane Sinclair Law Firm. Of course, last week they changed their name in honor of Murray. Their address is 201-211 Bannatyne Avenue in Winnipeg, Manitoba, postal code R3B3P2.
Thanks for the update, TR. That's TR Wheatley live at the Manitoba Legislature in Winnipeg. A candlelight vigil was held in Winnipeg last night by the Assembly of Manitoba Chiefs. The vigil was in honor of Brianna Clos, a mother of 4 who was found behind Portage Place Mall in downtown Winnipeg on October 31st. Family members and friends gathered near where Clos was found last week with life-threatening injuries, of which she later died in hospital. She was 28 years old. Police believe her death was a homicide and have charged 32-year-old Ryan John Kennedy with second-degree murder. Clos leaves behind a daughter and 3 sons, the eldest only 11 years old. His paternal aunt, Cassandra Flett, says it's not fair for Clos children to grow up without their mom at such a young age.
I cry for her. She was a beautiful person. She didn't deserve this treatment, and we deserve justice for her and answers. And we just need time to heal, I guess, at the end of the day, and hope that we can carry on her memory, especially in her children, and stories of how bright and kind she was. She was such a generous person.
A police officer shot and killed a man in Salouet, Nunavik on early Monday morning. It's an Inuit community in northern Quebec. His brother was also shot and is in critical condition after being medevaced to a hospital. It continues the trend of Indigenous people being killed at the hands of law enforcement in Canada. APTN Savannah Craig has the story and a warning. This story may be disturbing to some viewers.
A video uploaded to social media appears to show a confrontation between police and Joshua and Garnet Pipagatuk, where 2 shots are heard. A Nunavik police officer allegedly shot the twins in the early hours of Monday morning around 4 a.m. in Salouet, Nunavik. Joshua was taken to a hospital where he was pronounced dead, while Garnet was medevaced to a hospital in critical condition. On Monday, Garnet woke up in hospital. Quebec watchdog, the Bureau des Enquêtes, has 5 investigators looking into the situation. In a statement, the BEI said, preliminary information provided to the BEI suggests after a call was made to 911 over a person attempting to drive while impaired, 2 officers arrived on scene, leading to a physical altercation between the officers and 2 people. The BEI says the police allegedly used electric shock weapons and pepper spray to subdue the people without success. The BEI says a police officer allegedly opened fire at one of the people who was injured by police, then continued to open fire on the second person who was also injured. This is the 10th Indigenous person to die in Canada during an interaction with police since the end of August. Nunavik has a history of police violence towards community members. Between July 2016 and September 2018, civilians were being killed by Nunavik's police service at the highest rate in Quebec. According to Quebec watchdogs, Bureau des Enquêtes, the Nunavik Police Service is at the heart of more than 4% of all incidents during death or serious injury it investigates. The Nunavik Police has had approximately 26 times more lethal and/or severe injury events compared to the Montreal Police since 2016. Protests have been held in Nunavik in response to the killing of Joshua Pipagatuk for the last 2 days.
I'm so angry right now.
Frustration and grief is being felt by many in and outside of the community. Many in the social group, Salouet Breaking News, are questioning the use of guns against community members and calling for accountability. APTN asked Nunavik Police what will happen to the officer involved in the shooting. It did not respond to our request by airtime. Peta Atami, the president for Makavik, the legal representation of Quebec's Inuit, said in a statement that this incident is a painful reminder that Nunavik needs significant reform to truly serve and protect the community. Atami added that non-lethal de-escalation methods must become standard practice. Savannah Craig, APTN National News, Montreal.
A parliamentary committee continues to study gender-based violence and femicides against Indigenous women, girls, and gender-diverse people. On Monday, National Family and Survivors Circle Chair Hilda Anderson-Piers appeared before the committee on the status of women. She was asked how important is it that the federal government appoint an ombudsperson who will monitor progress on the Murdered and Missing Women and Girls Final Reports Calls to Justice.
Because without an accountability mechanism, Indigenous women, girls, and Two-Spirit and gender diverse people are going to continue to die at alarming rates, go missing at alarming rates, and experience violence at alarming rates.
A family in Saskatchewan is asking for the public's help in finding their loved one who has been missing for 4 months now. Yesterday, on November 5th, was Ryan Nicotine's 40th birthday. 39-year-old Ryan Nicotine was last seen walking on foot traveling northbound on Highway 4 on July 6th at around 3:30 a.m., according to North Battleford RCMP. Saskatchewan RCMP has conducted searches by air throughout Battleford and the surrounding area, including in an area south of the town. The family has now raised a $3,500 reward for information that can lead to finding Nicotine. Ryan Nicotine is described as Indigenous, 5'9" and 140 pounds. He has brown eyes and short brown hair and was last seen wearing a black t-shirt, blue jeans, and white running shoes. If anyone has information on his whereabouts, please contact RCMP or Crime Stoppers at 1-800-222-TIPS. APTN News will speak to the family in our evening newscast. An update now to the landmark $10 billion Robinson-Huron Treaty Settlement in Ontario. A judge has ruled that a $510 million legal bill for that settlement should be reviewed. Two of the First Nations involved in that settlement called it the largest legal bill in history. Justice Janice Steele of Ontario's Superior Court of Justice released her decision on October 30th. Steele ruled that the court should reassess the bill for legal fees and that the settlement funds were assets of the Robinson-Huron Treaty Litigation Fund. On November 4th, both the Atikameksheng and Garden River First Nations celebrated the judge's decision. They are calling for the legal fees to be significantly reduced so that more dollars will be dispersed among the 21 First Nations involved. A case conference is scheduled for today to determine the next steps. The $10 billion settlement was reached last January with both the feds and Ontario paying $5 billion each. The more than $500 million legal bill was already paid last May. RCMP in northern Saskatchewan is warning the public about sewing needles found in Halloween candy. LaRange RCMP say between November 1st and November 3rd, they received 2 reports of sewing-style needles found inside chocolate bars that children received while trick-or-treating. Police say their investigation has determined the chocolate bars were handed out to kids in the LaRange area and say they are not saying which neighborhood the candy was found in. Thankfully, no injuries were reported and RCMP continued to investigate. RCMP is reminding parents to always double-check your kids' candy. Donald Trump was elected the 47th President of the United States on Wednesday, clearing the 270 electoral votes needed to clinch the presidency.
This was, I believe, the greatest political movement of all time. There's never been anything like this in this country and maybe beyond.
Donald Trump retakes power, elected the 47th President of the United States. Political analysts say Trump staged a spectacular and historic comeback after losing the White House to Joe Biden in 2020. He spoke to supporters in Florida last night, hours before his victory was made official. The Littlebone First Nation in Saskatchewan held an annual hunt this fall to feed and give back to about 200 people. That story when we return when we're back in 3 minutes. Welcome back. The Saddle Lake Cree Nation in Alberta held an opening of their new Reunification Village on Monday. It will reunite parents with their children taken into care by the province. APTN's Chris Stewart reports.
Leaders, workers, contractors, and Saddle Lake members were on hand Monday to celebrate the official opening of 6 brand new homes that have been built to reunite parents and children. Parents who have completed addiction recovery at the Eagle Healing Lodge, located right next door, and have remained sober can be eligible to live with their family in one of the 6 units for up to 18 months. They can then be moved into transitional housing. Saddle Lake Cree Nation Councillor Pauline Hunter told those gathered that having their community raise children instead of the province is the best way forward.
The disconnect that's happening between our families, we had to work to keep the family together and wrap supports around them, and this is what this place is all about. And we're going to do that, and we're going to see the result.
The Wagutowin Society, which means kinship or everyone is related in Cree, has spent years planning and getting it ready. Tony Rose George is the project lead. She says there will be plenty of supports available from trained social workers, including childcare and cultural teachings. Having everything on site was important.
We often have to contract services off reserve. So the beauty of the program is that we have a program like this on our nation now, and we're excited that we don't have to utilize, we have our own, we don't have to go off reserve, we don't have to displace our families and our children.
Cheryl Cardinal is the chair of the Wagutowin Society. She says bringing back Cree culture to youth who have not been taught it when they are in provincial care was critical.
We need to learn that we are from the land, what being Cree means, and that's a big component to healthy living for us, is learning our ways that help us to address the traumas that have happened.
She says the community will come together to help families prosper.
This is something that we needed to be able to assist our families. We all know our families. We're very, it's Wagutuin. Wagutuin is all my family, all my relations, and that's what we are here. And we need to help each other.
The first families are expected to be reunited in January. Chris Stewart, APTN National News, Saddle Lake, Cree Nation, Alberta.
As the cost of living continues to rise, a hunting council on the Littlebone First Nation in Saskatchewan is coming together in the hopes of addressing food insecurity. As CTV's Sarah D'Souza Butts tells us, the event is an opportunity to practice traditional hunting practices and prepare the next generation of hunters.
With the goal of helping as many people as possible, a community hunt takes place every year on Littlebone First Nation.
Us as First Nations hunters, we have the ability to care for our people with this way.
Through hours and days of preparation, the nation's hunting council gathered approximately 2,500 pounds of meat from animals like elk and moose. The purpose of the hunt is to bring the community together with the priority of feeding elders and families on the nation, along with other band members who live in communities like Yorkton, Melville, and Saltcoats.
Chance for First Nations people to exercise their inherited rights. We're able to take those inherited rights and use those take it as a responsibility to take care of the nation and the people inside the community.
Meat isn't the only food provided. Other products are included, supplied by local businesses from the area.
We were able to link up with Sask Acre Farms, another farm business local to us, and we were able to purchase 80 or 90 dozen eggs as part of our handout, and as well as we were able to link up with the Prairie Dome local to our community here, and we bought a couple hundred pounds of potatoes as well.
As the initiative continues to grow larger every year, Zagame Anishinaabe Child and Family Wellness says it helps to address the food insecurity happening in the area.
It's not just in our community, it is widespread. The cost of living has become incredibly high, incredibly difficult for our families to make ends meet, and what Cameron and his hunting council have done this year is help our department, help our nation, feed our people, and we're just so incredibly grateful.
With the community hunt happening every year, Peach says the group is mindful of animals and the environment because of traditional hunting practices.
We're actually able to be really responsible about how many animals we take out of certain areas and what kind of animals we're taking out of those areas. And in the long run, animal management is actually a really good thing to be responsible about, because you're not taking everything out of one area and there's nothing there for next year.
Watching Cameron and his team, it means a great deal to us, because I know that they are doing it in our traditional ways. And for somebody that works in the helping field, I am really grateful for that, because we do need to get back to those traditional ways.
Peach says his personal connection to the annual hunt ties in with family roots.
As a young guy, I noticed my dad would shoot a few deer, but only take half home. And then I started asking, he would give some away to my aunties or give some to his cousins, and that. He taught me how to share.
Thanks to the community's efforts, officials believe more than 200 people benefited from this year's hunt. Sarah D'Souza Butts, CTV News, Littlebone.
An Indigenous moving company is making moves in Winnipeg. We'll bring you that story when we're back in less than 3 minutes. Stick around. Starting on the East Coast, St. John's 10, Charlottetown 18. Cartwright 4, the Grand River 3. Quebec City 20, Montreal 21. Ottawa 21, Sarnia 18 and sun. Partly cloudy in Wawa at 6, Thunder Bay, sun and 6. Puckatawagan 0, Thompson -2. 1 in Winnipeg, Barons River 1 as well. -1 in Yorkton, -4 in North Battleford. -1 in Meadow Lake, Buffalo Narrows -3. Sun in Fort McMurray at +3, Peace River 9. Medicine Hat 5, Lethbridge 8. 10 in Vancouver, Bella Coola 9. Sandspit 9, Smithers 12.
-3, and Watson Lake, Rock River -13. Wati -3, Wrigley -4. Inuvik -10, Palutuk -4. Baker Lake -10, Chesterfield -2. And Arctic Bay -14, Agluluk -7.
Nichi Moves is a First Nation moving company gaining traction in Winnipeg. Two brothers and a cousin raised in the North End hit the road earlier this year and haven't looked back. T.R. Wheatley put this story together that gives us a look at some of their moves from the perspective of the Bolio brothers.
Okay, I'm going to readjust my grip. I'd say I started it in like January 2024. We were doing like side jobs at first. My name is Jordan Bolio. And I'm a mover. I started a company called Nichi Moves. Yeah, I'm 21 years old. Work with my brothers. Yeah, and help people in need. Because I mean, especially in the community, there's lots of Indigenous people moving around, right? And I mean, not everybody can afford $1,000. So we're out here trying to make the difference. 2 guys is $135. 3 guys is $175. It's really from nothing, right? We just started using U-Hauls and then worked our way up to a small truck and then now our big truck. So we're doing pretty decent for ourselves.
Yeah, with this it makes it a lot more efficient. I'm Quentin Bolio and I'm a mover for Nichi Moves, part owner of Nichi Moves. I'm 20, I'm 1 year younger. You know, the 3 of us started at the beginning of this year and we're going pretty strong right now. Start on your goals, get a good group of people around you, have good support, and yeah, just starting is the biggest thing.
My name is Melody Dupuis, and I'm moving from this location to another location with Nichi Movers. I've used them before, and they were recommended to me, and they're awesome. They're super nice, take care of all your stuff. Always on time. Told Jordan before that I'm proud of him and his workers for starting their own company. Like, that's amazing, especially the barriers that Indigenous people face. And so for him to come out of all of that and have his own business, that's just amazing to me. And so I like to support him and refer him to everyone.
You gotta start somewhere, right? You don't just have it all handed to you. So I just thought we'll start it and just see what happens. And I mean, we got a pretty good Facebook presence too. My partner Vince, actually, he was the one who thought orange, put a bunch of hands on it. We're Nichi Moves, and I mean, coming with like Orange Shirt Day and all that stuff. Definitely got to branch out more because I want to start helping out reserves too over time. That's something that's a big ambition of mine.
Great moves, Nichi Moves, and I love that bro shake as well. And that's your midday newscast for this Wednesday, November 6th. Make sure to join us in a few hours for your evening newscast. From everyone at APTN National News, hi masicho, miigwech. Thank you for watching. We'll see you again. Next day.